Being decent means setting standards when lives are on the line. In the United States, kids practice active shooter drills like fire drills. That should not be normal. And the fact that we behave like it is absolutely unacceptable. Firearms are the leading cause of death for American children and teens. We've known this for years, and yet we continue to do nothing. That has to finally end. Each time there's another school shooting, we argue for a weekend, and then it just slides back into the noise of the feed. Meanwhile, Congress polishes talking points, state houses hold hearings, lobbyists cash checks, and children keep dying. We have chosen paralysis and called it freedom. Polls continue to show that broad majorities support basic measures, such as universal background checks and risk-based removal laws. Unfortunately, those policies stall anyway, because lobbyists have a louder line to the door than parents and teachers. That gap, the lobbyist veto over public will, that's the scandal. Rights come with responsibilities. We license drivers and enforce standards because vehicles have the capacity to be dangerous. Lethal tools absolutely demand accountable owners. This is not anti-gun. Trying to spin it that way is inflammatory and only continues to promote fear and paralysis of action. This is pro-child, pro-community, and pro-responsibility. Here are just 5 basic standards that we can implement, and frankly, we should have already had these in place decades ago. First, universal background checks for every sale or transfer. No private sale loopholes, no exceptions. If a gun changes hands, a check happens. And most Americans agree with this year after year. Here's how it looks. If you sell a gun, you meet at a reputable dealer who holds a federal firearms license. Just like that, your paper trail is done. Firearm purchaser licensing, also referred to as state permits before you buy, we can require the combination of training, a background check, and fingerprints with every issuance or renewal. In fact, states that do this see lower gun deaths. You can look at Missouri as an example for when such laws are repealed. And when that permit law was repealed, homicides went up. Traceability. No more untraceable guns. Serializing core components, requiring lost or stolen reporting, and regulating build kits, like firearms, should be the norm. In fact, the Supreme Court in 2025 upheld ATF's ghost gun rule, which is good. It's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Let's keep it going. Safe storage and child access prevention. This is a big one. If you own a gun, you are responsible for that gun. You have to ensure it's secure, and it should be secured, locked, unloaded, ammo separate. Child access protection laws and proper storage reduce youth suicides and injuries. This is basic decency to your own family. And finally, extreme risk protection orders, or ERPOs. When someone's in crisis or they make credible threats, families and law enforcement officers need a due process tool that can pause access with clear time limits, mandated hearings, and clear restoration criteria. It's not confiscation, it's temporary restriction of access during crisis. Majorities support these when they're explained plainly. And this is the key. Instead of believing the inflammatory us versus them rhetoric that we are constantly inundated with, look at what the actual actions and behaviors are that are being suggested. We have to quit letting the people who thrive on our visceral responses to everything that is not perfectly in sync with our expectations to get a rise out of us. Just like in our previous episode, take a breath. Consider whether the response that you are about to give is lashing out or accusatory, or is it actually grounded in understanding and supports the actual discussion? Again, This is not confiscation, and it's not cultural war cosplay. If you already train, store safely, and follow the law, you're the model. These standards lift the floor, not the ceiling. We don't have a mystery. We have an abysmal failure of courage. Elected officials have allowed lobbyist pressure to outweigh children's safety. That's egregious, it's indecent, and it's fixable. If you own firearms, and I'll be completely transparent, I do. Lock them up today. If all you have is the cable lock that came with your firearm, use it until you can obtain a safe. They should be unloaded, and ammo should be stored in a separate location. Often you can even get free locks through Project Child Safe and local police agencies. Pledge FFL transfers only. If you sell or gift a gun, run it through a dealer. That way there's a check and a record. Teach and model safe handling. No muzzle sweeps in photos. Normalize locks and safes. Whether you own firearms or not, you should also do some basic due diligence when your kid visits another home, and have a very clear conversation about expectations. If someone is spiraling, know the state's ERPO process and how to file with law enforcement or the courts. You can search, and this will be on the screen, your state ERPO on the Attorney General or court site. Unfortunately, the majority of states currently do not have extreme risk laws. But if you do happen to be in a state that is somewhat considerate of basic decency, please familiarize yourself with the process. Use 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for crisis help, and ask about removing access to lethal means while someone stabilizes. In a similar vein, and we'll definitely discuss this a lot more in a future episode, promote mental health as a fundamental component of human health. All of us need support at times. Let's quit acting otherwise. Call your state senators and House representatives. Use the following script. Hi, I'm Jesse, a voter in... insert your zip code. I want you to back universal background checks, purchaser licensing, safe storage and child access prevention, and emergency risk protection orders with due process. I expect a public statement and a timeline. But don't stop there. Continue with one follow-up per month. Put it on your calendar. Ask for their on-record position and not a staff email. Local wins matter. If your state already has some of these, push for enforcement and funding. And if not, start applying civic pressure with your elected representatives. It's beyond time for them to finally address the problem. Decency says kids should come home from school, period, full stop. We have to be done pretending that nothing can change. Work through the action items in this video, even if you only do one each week or so until complete. I encourage you, like, subscribe, share, if this message resonates with you. The only way we manage to move forward is to continue to make noise and stand strong. Until next time, be kind, be clear, be accountable, be brave, be useful. Be Renegade Noble.